it was just a dream. What can be worse than a nightmare? I just felt the incubus. Many people do as well. The holy shit moment that we long to go away. Not a big deal. We do have dreams that we crave for too. Unfortunately, for this part, it is just a dream. They say, eventually we get the things that we wish for. Doesn't mean you wish to have a Lamborghini and the next morning it appears in your garage. I started to realize life is what we think, but I didn't know what to do with that. It is just an intuition, because everything I wanted, I got it. The only problem was I didn't know what I wanted. Still, I dreamt of becoming rich. Who doesn't? Codes are my passion. Humans are not the only being I deal with. My job is to develop softwares. Yes, I do the geek job as an average paying worker who works from 10 to 6. I do love my job, and I think I'm good at it too. But after working in the same company for 4 long years, your job becomes your obsession. At some point, you become monotonous and a bit paranoid indeed. In a country like this, the job I'm into is not enough to live a luxurious life. You know, live in mansion with pools, gym, and of course, my private nerd lab. I meant this kind of luxury. I'm not a social kind of person who loves to party, so a private residence of your own does it all for me. I've been living in a rental residence, and my annoying landlord is the reason I want to move away from here. I guess you are your only good companion. Many business strategies occurred in my mind and even had plans to run it all by myself. All I needed was some investments to do. But where do I get this kind of money to initialize an IT business? All I could do was just wish for it. It was Friday, and I was excited about my weekend plans. After having a tiresome day, I was ready to pack my stuffs and leave my workplace. But before leaving, I wanted to check my Facebook. Surprisingly, I received a message that right moment. It was from a friend who left for Dubai 2 years ago. He had returned to Nepal recently. He asked me to join him for a drink in that evening. We decided to meet at a local bar at Tamil at 7 p.m. I reached there few moments before 7. He was there waiting for me. He looked affluent, and I wondered what he did for living, but I never bothered to ask him. I just wondered. Well, he was a mysterious guy back in the days. The only thing common between us was we both loved computers. And as far as I know, I was his only friend back then. He asked me how I earn my income. I told him that being a programmer is not that easy. A series of conversation went through, and I ended up letting him know about my business plans. I told him that I needed some cash to start a business, but I could not afford to do so. Meanwhile, he told me that he could help me out, but I had to do a small job for him. He agreed to pay me a good amount only if I did as he asked me to do. The only thing I needed to do was to drop a suitcase to a certain place on time. That was all I had to do. The offer was good, but I thought a lot. Why that much amount for such an easy task? As I looked a little hysterical, he guaranteed me it was no such job. After taking some time, I decided to do it. He promised to pay me in cash that very night at a hotel named Hotel Buddha at room number 408 soon as the piece of work is done. He called someone named John. After a while, he went down and brought a suitcase with him and handed me the suitcase. It had number locks on it. When I asked what really was inside the suitcase, he replied that it was some confidential documents. It was not so heavy, but enough to contain 1,000,000 rupees. We departed and decided to meet after half an hour. I was asked to drop the suitcase on a construction site near Darbar Marg. My heart was pounding, although he had pledged me that it was no such job. It all went well, and I reached the spot as told, but no one was there in the room. I waited for him a while, and then I stood up to freshen up. What could be worse than a nightmare? A friend shooting right at your face, probably. Thank God it was just a dream.